You're listening to the Super League Pod, coming up on episode 92 of your favourite Rugby League podcast. Tom and Mark are here with all your feedback and shout-outs, news from around the world of Rugby League. We'll be reviewing and previewing all the week's Super League action, and we'll be bringing you tons of your thoughts, your feedback on your podcast, the Super League Pod. Okay, episode 92, welcome along. It's one of the greatest days of the year, Mark. It's March the 14th. You know what that is, don't you?
Pie Day.
No. Why are you all falling into that trap? It's Steak and Blowjob Day, Mark.
What?
14th of March is Steak and BJ Day.
Where's that from?
Google it, I swear to God. Now, I can't help but notice that you have not brought any steak with you. I can only assume, therefore, that, you know, you're going to be taking care of me later on, which is great. But I would have preferred some steak as well. Steak and BJ
as
Day.
well, though, you never wanted to rule out the BJ. I'm telling you now, the BJ's off the table. Obviously for you, it was
if anything sitting here, it's under the table, surely. But no, steak and BJ Day.
Right.
It's a thing.
Okay.
I think.
How's it go for you so far?
I have banked it for Friday. That's the arrangement I've made.
Fair enough.
But you know, you can't always get steak and BJ Day when you want it to. You've got to sometimes make these sacrifices.
Right.
I did feel like you
were what you were building up to, because you were quite sombre in the intro, and now all of a sudden.
Well, I thought, you know, the old bait and switch. I can't believe you haven't heard of Steak and BJ Day.
Well, you know, it's not.
It's like a thing.
It's not for me.
It's not. Yeah, you're not a fan of steak, right? So, how's your week been?
It's been all right. It's been okay.
How did you feel on Saturday night after our relationship was defined so vividly by our friend?
I wondered how long this would take to come up.
Moments, mate, mere moments. I nearly brought it into the intro.
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah, Tommy's sidekick.
We're going to tell the.
I think we should do. Yes. Well, I'll let you have the honours. You do the honours.
But surely you should set it up, and then I should come in and
smash me to pieces.
Do all the hard work.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Well, we were at a mutual friend's birthday party this weekend, weren't we? And the short version is that one of our other mutual friends described you as being like my sidekick.
Yeah, basically.
Which was tremendous news, and also massively false. And I should say, in my defence, before you start to absolutely butcher me, my instant reaction was to say, there's no way that that's true. Here's a list of reasons why.
Well, she wasn't talking in a podcast sense. Although in a podcast sense, I guess you're nominally the host and that you do the intro.
And very little of the preparatory work. Yeah, just do a day-to-day sense.
She basically meant that you're the larger-than-life personality. And I just riffed jokes off the back of that.
I just thought she was like...
I think she meant sort of like Sidekick Simon in Partridge rather than Robin to Batman. Although she did keep referring to...
Although she did say that Batman would be nothing without Robin. Yeah. No, they don't like Robin more.
That's what she was saying.
She said...
He's nicer to people.
He is nicer to people.
He's not as much of a moody bastard.
Yeah. But it was a strong little moment for me.
Yeah.
It says a great deal more about my own life than it does that yours.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, you get used to being a sidekick after a while. Got to be said.
Right, let's get on with the show, because surely more intelligent comments than that have been coming from our listeners this week. Who's been getting in touch with us?
Loads of people.
Wonderful.
Al Witz, we'll start with Al. He said, another great show, gentlemen. Really enjoying this year with all the new features and music. I could now listen to it in the car, which has cheered the wife up no end.
Got an early front runner for an award, haven't we here? Really, and Al, he's really stepped up his
interaction,
his contribution game over the last few weeks. So,
and you know, those sort of reach arounds,
liking it exactly. Yeah,
always welcome.
Those are exactly the sort of ego inflating things that get you awards come the end of the year. Al, so keep it up, mate.
We've got a couple coming in now about the chat about the tackling in schools thing, which has the government have responded to an online petition, haven't they, before we talk about the feedback, that there's no intention to actually do that.
Yeah.
But basically, Richard Langley, he got in touch by email. He said, having listened to the discussion regarding tackling in schools and the pros and cons, it reminded me of an article I read in Sports Illustrated about one of the stars of the NHL, that's the American Hockey League, well, American and Canadian, Johnny Gaudreau,
I would say.
At 5'9" and 11 stone, he is a small player in a physical sport dominated by big men. But it's interesting how he has focused on developing his skills and speed to keep him out of the way of collisions. He recognised early on that one big hit could take him out of the game, and so made the most of his speed and size to make himself faster and more agile. He's the Robbie Burrow of the NHL.
And he's got about 4 inches. He's got probably about 6 inches on Rob Burrow as well.
While it doesn't translate totally to the debate around tackling, it does show that smaller guys and girls can find a place in contact sports by making the differences work for them. Smaller players, coached and looked after properly, could learn to avoid the bigger, slower players from an early age.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, and I hadn't really thought about it in terms of other sports as well, but
yeah,
that's a good one. Thank you, Rich. Yeah.
Darts at Mitchell Darts, he said, top ep lads, interesting discussion regarding tackling for juniors. Definitely agree, no tackling for schoolboys. I saw some very dodgy techniques when I was at school. Playing touch footy or Oztag is definitely the way to go for schools, opens the game up more to kids.
Is Oztag, I'm assuming, similar to like the Euro tag thing that the guys on League Culture talk about?
I think so. It's basically, if I understand Euro tag correctly, you tackle the ball but not the man. You kind of to stop the play. It's not like touch where you just have to touch them, or tag where you have to pull a thing off someone.
Okay.
So I don't know what Oztag is different.
To get the hand to the ball.
Put the hand on the ball, and I think that stops the play. The play gives himself up.
I see.
Then they have a play of the ball, and
I'm sure our Aussie listeners will tell us if we've.
And I'm sure Stu will tell us if Euro tag is that or not.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a very good point.
Paul Ludo Lewis, he got in touch. He said, was just about to email my views on tackling in schools, but Dr. Bob Phillips wrote literally word for word what I put.
Yeah, he summed it up relatively well, didn't he, Bob?
Yeah.
Reasonably.
Yeah, Dr. Bob covered up all the angles off that that anyone needed.
Tough to outdo the man, really, isn't it?
We've got experts all over the show now. We've got medical experts in Dr. Bob. We've got refereeing experts in Paul O'Brien. We're
a one-stop shop for all your rugby league technical knowledge.
There you go. Dominic Crossland, he got in touch. He said, after the mention of kabaddi, it reminded me of another Eastern Asian sport I saw on Eurosport called Carom. It's spelled Carrom. It was sort of a mix between snooker, air hockey, and perhaps bowls.
Jesus, what?
The only time I ever saw it, that early afternoon lull on Christmas Day, since then I've never heard of it televised.
Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Have you Googled it?
No.
I think maybe Dom might have just been doing some drugs that day or something.
But he also said that we give him a new nickname at Executive Release, which I can't remember at all discussing.
I did, yeah. We're going to call him, because his Twitter handle is Dom Release.
Yeah.
So I wanted to call him Executive Release. As in, what you get at a rub and a tug factory.
Okay.
So it was me that did that.
Okay.
You quite rightly told me that we weren't to do that.
Oh.
But
maybe he'll enjoy it now. He didn't understand what it was.
Maybe he's going to stop listening to us. I don't know how he's going to take that. I sincerely hope he takes it in good spirits.
I'm sure he does, and we'll hopefully hear more from people who know about Carom.
Yes. Particularly if you want me to somehow devise a nickname for you that will, some way offend you.
Yeah. I don't think he was offended. He doesn't seem the sort.
No.
He seems sound. Sean Orton, he wanted us to shout out for Crossfield's Armed Forces Day,
yes.
Which features the Tom Sefton Trophy. That's on the 25th of June at Crossfield's ARLFC. So I've got a banner that he sent us, picture thing, so I'll put that up on the Facebook page so people can see that and also rob it and share it and what have you. Mm-hmm. He said about us going down, I'm actually best man in a wedding that day, so
25th of June.
Not an available day for me. Elliot Wrench, he wanted us to shout out for adults learning to swim lessons.
Alright.
Yeah, he said he's had his 8th lesson and he's progressing quite well and he's really enjoying it. So he wants to encourage others to do the same. Basically, if you've never learn to swim or don't feel like the strongest swimmer, get in touch with Elliot and he can put you on some adult swimming lessons.
And you'll be going on cruises with gay abandon from there on in, because if the boat sinks, you'll be able to swim to safety.
Well,
boating lakes no longer represent the terrifying prospect that they once did for him.
I don't want to, like... I think he's after his 8th lesson. He's not ready to swim for shore yet, but he's doing well. So
he's on the right track.
Yeah,
now.
definitely. Yeah,
absolutely. You'd think at least now, if he was out on a boating lake, he could thrash his way to shore.
Yeah, he's
rather
certainly
than sinking like a fucking rock.
Yeah,
good for you, Elliot. I'm proud. I'm not proud of you. That's a bit patronising, but I'm pleased for you, man.
Yeah. So get on board with that. Anyone who wants to find themselves not abandoned in boating lakes.
Yeah.
Diane
ride a bike next, I've heard.
You must have known what was coming.
I didn't know whether or not to go horrible, but I feel like I should.
Even though he's the biggest supporter of your charity.
I know, and he really has, and I'm so sorry. I just couldn't resist. I think it's sensational. Good luck.
Anyway, Diane got in touch. She wanted us to highlight a video about London Rugby League. It's sort of presented, I guess is the best way to describe it, by a young man called Aaron Sinclair from the Brixton Bulls under 17 side, I think he is. I couldn't get a good recording of it. Basically, it's a video, and I would have had to record video because I didn't have a way of cutting the audio out of the video. Yeah. So I couldn't put it into the show like Dan asked, because it just sounded crap, to be perfectly honest. And it does it no justice, because it's a really good little video. So maybe people can go out there and Google for it. If you Google for London Rugby League, Aaron Sinclair or Brixton Bulls or something, but it's a really cool video. It talks about the pathways in London Rugby League, what Rugby League means to people, and how it should be supported in the South and stuff like that. It is good, and it's all things that we firmly are behind. So I'm sorry I couldn't get it sounding any sort of decent level into putting it in the show.
It got me thinking about an old Chase and Status track called Brixton Briefcase, and I used to constantly wonder about what that would have been, what a Brixton briefcase is.
I assume it'd be full of heroin.
Possibly so, yeah. Well, that was kind of the road I went down, but it was, Anyway, so, not entirely related to the point, but adds colour to the podcast.
Shunter got at Shunter86. He got in touch. Finally started listening to Super League Pod. New to Super League. I'm getting around Warrington for the razzle dazzle of Giddow.
Yes,
I love the nickname.
That's it. The pair of them together are Giddow.
Giddow.
Yes. I think the razzle dazzle crack, is that not related to something that Gidley said a couple of years ago at the start of an NRL season, that he was going to bring the razzle dazzle back to Newcastle, and everyone just rounded on him?
I'm not sure, but
I'm pretty serious, and then he obviously failed to do so.
Well, it's okay, because his presence in the side has held back Jared Mullen, and now we're seeing how excellent a play making Jared Mullen could be to win a spoon winning side.
That's fantastic.
Dom Hodgson will finish with, in terms of bits of feedback we got. He said, finally got Premier Sports. Time to choose an NRL team to follow this season based on nothing but name alone. Thoughts?
Well, I went with, for almost exactly the same reason I went with the Sharks. They were on, and it was a good way to bust my mate's balls a little bit.
The thing is,
it's called the Sharks.
It's not like we're looking at the Hong Kong Nines, where the names are hilarious to have an active choice in this matter. They're just normal names.
I came across Mongkok at work the other day. Because we produced a map for the Shangri-La at Kowloon. Yeah. I put it up. Literally, the first thing I saw when I opened this map up was Mongkok Park.
No way. Where the Creepers play.
That's the home of the Creepers, Mongkok Park. Yeah, I was blind.
You need to get that on the map.
Home of the Creepers.
Use your inside track.
I'm not sure how many of the Shangri-La Kowloon's clientele are that bothered about Mongkok Creepers.
Don't know till they try it, do they?
Exactly, yes. Well, there you go. Let's see if we can get them to invest in some advertising space. That will work.
I think Dom's going for the Rabbitohs at the moment, because obviously it is actually probably the most ridiculous name, given that they could just be called Rabbit. So then everyone's like, oh, fluffy bunnies.
Yeah, but was a Rabbitoh not the blokes that used to sell the rabbits or something?
I don't know.
Could be very wrong.
I know that in my on my computer, in my phone, and on my tablet, it doesn't like the word.
No.
It wants to spell check it all the time. I know that much.
Yeah, your phone doesn't like rugby and it thinks you're thick.
Then we had a few people just to mention who...
these lot.
Wire Joe, Alwitz, Langers, David Brown, Chris Macy, they all got on the Tuesday Big News theme. So
couldn't have gone any worse this week though, could it? Because it was literally Tuesday morning and like the rumours started. Brian Smith quit. And like, oh come on, no, let it just be a rumour.
So we're pretty. The point we made last week still stands.